Today's episode is brought to you by Patreon. If you're interested in supporting the show, go to patreon.com/JoshuaVelas and become a $2 backer today and get early access to the new episodes. I'll be leaving a link in the description down below, but for now, on to today's episode. You're listening to the Augment Experience podcast. I'm your host, as usual, Joshua Velas. I'm a student, musician, and a gamer at heart. Join me as I sit down every week to talk about all the latest news in the technology, business, and video game world. I hope you guys enjoy. All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. My name is Joshua Velas. I am your host as usual, and welcome back to the show. Obviously, today's episode 72 of the show, and obviously today is going to be the Thanksgiving special, which I've been alluding to this one for a while now because, you know, it's obviously that time of the year where we get to celebrate Thanksgiving, and it's a very, festive time, but also very significant. And you know, there's a lot to be grateful for because, you know, that's what Thanksgiving is supposed to symbolize, is to give thanks and to be grateful for, you know, for what has happened so far. And, you know, there's many things, especially for me and my personal beliefs, that, you know, as a body of Christ, that we get to celebrate Thanksgiving and, you know, to give thanks to God for all that he has provided for us and all that he has done for us this year so far. And really, I'd say every year we've been alive and all that he's provided. And obviously I have many things to be grateful for and thankful for, which I'm going to break it down one by one. And obviously the first one to me is going to start with that I'm thankful for all that God has done for me. That this year has been a very prosperous year. It's been very, you know, it's been very, very filled with so much blessings and, you know, joy. And at the same time, you know, it's also been hard, which I've already made that clear. You know, there's been hard times, there's been highs and lows, but I'm thankful that he still remains faithful to me. He still remains faithful to my family and my friends. And that, you know, that even after all my mistakes, he continues to run after me and to continue to love me and care for me. And I think to me, you know, it's kind of something that I need to be reminded of, not just Thanksgiving, but I'd say like every day, it's something I need to be mindful of and remind myself of what he has done, because, you know, it's kind of what I tell everybody when they ask me the question, like, Josh, you know, what does it mean to be a Christian? And it really comes down to the fact that it comes down to full submission to God and humbling yourself before him, because the reality is, like, you can't earn your way to God. Like, you can't. We are flawed human beings in that I kind of like how the scripture describes is that he gave up the riches of heaven to be with us, to be poor, so that we may be rich because of what he has done for us. Because the reality is we came empty-handed. Like, we had nothing to give besides all of our failures, all of our mistakes. And, you know, he gave us his perfect love, his righteousness, and he gave us so much in return, even though we had nothing to offer. And I think to me that's something beautiful, because that shows that, one, you don't lose your salvation when you get it, because you can't lose something that you were given. You, like, if you earned it, then yes, you can lose it. But if it was given to you, you can't lose it. It's something that was given to you, not because of what you done, but because of what someone else done, what someone else did. And I think to me that's really beautiful. And it's something to remind myself, and, you know, even my family, we remind ourselves that every time we celebrate Thanksgiving together, that, you know, it's hard, you know, because Thanksgiving for my family is usually, recently it's been a little bit weird and funky because, you know, yeah, there's some people missing from the dinner table that makes it hard. And, you know, but it's what my dad always tells me is we got to keep going forward. And I know to me, it's a little bit hard because for me, there's obviously somebody missing. And, you know, and I know it's hard. It's really hard. But I know that I have to trust God, that he is faithful and that he is just in all this process. I think the second thing that's a good segue to go into is, like, I'd say school, specifically Texas Tech, that I'm grateful for the opportunities they've given me to come to the school and to have, you know, the opportunity to pursue an education and the degree that I'm pursuing, which is computer engineering. that, you know, they have given me the opportunity that no one else was willing to give me, that, you know, they wanted to give me a chance and I ran with it, and they have been very generous. They have been very, you know, very helpful. A lot of my professors have been some of the nicest and coolest people I've met in terms of professors, even though, yes, I saw some really cool people back home that I really love. And I think it's just, you know, it's so much to wrap my brain around, because I made so many friends out here. Obviously, I'm talking about the people at Redeemer. I'm grateful for them. I love them to death. Like, they have treated me like family, and they've welcomed me as part of the family. And obviously my friends, you know, like, you know, my friends in my Cal class, I love you guys so much. You know, my friends that I met in history, my friends that I met in my engineering classes, I love all of you guys to death. You know, like, who else? I'd say even in my English classes, I met some really cool people, and I love them to death too. They've been really cool, and obviously a lot of my professors have been some of the nicest and greatest people I've met, that they've been very encouraging, they've been very helpful, you know, that they've listened to me about some of the personal stuff going on, that they've been, you know, that they pointed me in healthy direction with healthy resources to, you know, to constantly focus on myself. And I thank them so much for the opportunity that they've given me. That, and I'd say even the school just being very generous with like how many scholarships they give me, when it's really nice. And obviously I'm talking about even a lot of the resources on campus and how helpful they've been, and how they've helped me not only grow as a student, but I'd say grow as a person. Obviously I'm referring to the writing center. I love everybody in there, and how much they helped me become a better writer, and, you know, become more fluent and more efficient when it comes to writing papers, and not just let the little things fly over my head. But at the same time, you know, like the media lab for helping me start the show, like for helping me gain confidence and get used to the software, and, you know, help me get used to it and like get the flow of things and try to understand how it feels, and, you know, get out of my comfort zone. I'd say that the wellness center has been very helpful, obviously, for taking care of me. And, you know, obviously in the therapy, like, I love my therapist so much. I'm very grateful for him for all his time that he's put to hear me out and to give me insightful, you know, caring advice, and, you know, helping me understand, to realize some like big picture questions that have been flying over my head recently, and to notice little patterns here and there that, you know, normally I should keep track of by myself, but obviously I am, you know, that there's somebody there who's willing to help me to be as unbiased as possible, but at the same time looking out for my best interest and looking out for my well-being. And I think that's very important. Really, it's really important. Next, I would say the next thing I'm probably grateful for, well, I wouldn't say probably, that I am grateful for, is my family. That obviously for my family has been, you know, a little bit still hard on them, because, you know, it's my second year of college. You know, it's the second year that I'm not home. Obviously, they're aware of all the personal stuff, and, you know, it has them worried sick, because, you know, they're worried about me. But my family has been very patient. You know, they've been very loving. Obviously, they just want to see me. And, you know, it's kind of hard, you know, because being away from your family, being 6 hours away with no car and no money to like just go home whenever I want, like, it's, you know, it's hard. It plays an emotional game, and it starts to go down the route that I start to feel a little bit lonely. That's like my therapist, he kind of called me out on it. He's like, Josh, you're starting to act like a person who says they're alone in a room full of people. And, you know, that's so true, because it's like, being away from my family is something that's hard, because it's like, they're people that genuinely care about me, even though, yes, we bicker sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, but we're still family. We still love each other, and we still care for each other. And, you know, it's just hard not having, you know, people around that just genuinely love you, and that just generally want to look out for your best interests. And I think, to me, you know, I'd say it's kind of one of my pros and cons, because I love people so much. And when I build such genuine connections and relationships with people, that it's hard when you don't see them, you know? And it's hard, and it's not easy. But I'm grateful that my family has been very, very compassionate, has been very supportive of my endeavor so far, with not only a little bit of the show, maybe, but because they still don't understand it, but with school, they're very supportive. They're always rooting for me. You know, and obviously, when I say family, to me, my family is also my friends, because I treat my friends as my family. Like, to me, they may not have the same bloodline as me, but to me, it's where I say that it's an instance where water became thicker than blood, where they became very close and they became family to me. So obviously, like my church family back home, they've constantly supported me. They constantly talk to me. They've given me so much advice. They constantly care about me. They constantly look out for me. They constantly support me if I ever need help. Obviously I'm talking about my friends back home. They've always been supportive. They talk to me they do their best to talk to me, to make time to talk to me, to see how I'm doing, check up on me, give me advice when I ask for advice. And, and it's just it's so crazy, because even my therapist, when he told me that quote, or not that really that quote, that piece of advice where it's like, you feel alone in a room full of people, where it's like, Josh, you have one of the most incredible support systems anybody could ask for at their age. And it's not because, it just randomly popped up. It's because you went out and you humbled yourself and you truly cared about those people, and they truly care about you. And that's why they always look out for your best interest, but they're not afraid to call you out when you're doing something wrong. And, and I think it's so helpful, because it makes it so I don't have an echo chamber, that they don't allow it. They don't allow me to have one, because they're like, no, that's not good for you. That's not healthy. That's not helping you grow as a person. And it's something that's so great. It's so refreshing, because you're not just going to get yes men. You're not going to get people that are just going to say yes and like, that's awesome. Like, you're not going to get people that say that all the time. Like, they'll call you out and they'll question your decision. Like, they'll make you think. And I think that's what's so helpful to me, and it helps so much. Obviously, I think the next thing to go into, fairly straightforward, is the show, because first off, I love you guys to death so much, because you guys keep coming back. You keep listening to the show. You keep giving me the privilege and the opportunity to share information with y'all. And it also, makes me stay on the beat on what's going on, and it's so helpful, because I always told myself before even doing the show, that I was a person who always loved looking at technology, was watching videos about technology when it was like when I was around 15 years old is when I started watching a lot of tech videos. 15 or 16, I'd say in that range. I started watching a ton of tech videos, and I started to keep up to beat with what the market is doing and, what's going on. And I watched a lot of people and looked up to a lot of people that helped me get a better understanding of, what's going on, get the feel of where the market is going. And obviously when 2018 came around, I'd say the end of 2017, because that was my first semester of college, that when I did the podcast project and used it as a little, I'd say like, what's it called? I'd say like a little pilot, just to test the waters and see what people think. A lot of people liked it, and then I did the banner episode on January 11th of 2018, and we went from there. And obviously the show has continued to grow. We're about to hit 700 total downloads, which that's just insane. Like, obviously, yes, still trying to see if we can push for that 1,000 before the 1 year anniversary. I really want to, but probably not possible. Like, obviously, the Patreon backers, I love you guys to death. Even though there's only one person, I still love you, bro. Love you. Thank you so much for your support. And for the past, obviously, since the start of this year when the show started. Thank you so much for your continued support and patronage. It really means a lot to me. And it's obviously been an incredible journey, because there's been so many topics we've talked about, like so much news that has been covered in the course of this, this time frame, since January to now. So much has happened, so much has changed. I've obviously grown, got more comfortable doing this. I'm not so afraid to get in front of a microphone and share how I feel, and share personal stories with y'all and be more open. And obviously, prime example would be the relationship episode, which is probably the most, I'd say, passionate project I've worked on. And it was overall, I feel the most happy about that episode because of how I felt. It came from a place of love and compassion, and just hearing, like I said, just hearing your stories that you guys have shared with me about your experiences and how you can relate to me and everything, that it's just so crazy. And I've been so grateful that you guys constantly keep coming back, constantly keep listening to the show. And I've even got to talk to some incredible people, like obviously I got to talk to Juan, it's really great to have a friendship with him and get to know him. And, I'd say like get to receive some of the knowledge that, he's imparting on me and sharing with me and sharing with y'all, especially in the discussions we have. Obviously getting to do the episode with Get Flanked was really crazy. That was really fun. Even though it was a one and done, it was still really fun. And I know you guys like that episode because, you know, it's Get Flanked, and a lot of the people that love Rainbow, they know who he is. Obviously, there's still more in the future that I don't know what God has for me in the show, but it's going to be incredible. Obviously, we're, you know, preparing to see if we want to go through with making Real Talk its own show, which obviously after the relationship episode, you guys seem to really love the Real Talk idea. And love what comes out, like what comes because of it, you know, like what topics can be talked about, you know, what insight can we have. And I think it's just so crazy, and it's just one of the best things that, you know, I've ever experienced. I think another thing to be grateful for is, you know, let's talk about tech a little bit, because, you know, there's a lot of crazy stuff that's happened in technology this year that a lot of people don't really realize, you know. And I think to me, it's just with technology, it's been a very incredible year for tech. Hold on. Like, I'm trying to think, like what specifically in tech stuck out to me that, you know, like, I think to me, I want to start with, I'd say the smartphone market right now. I think it's probably the best place to start, because I wouldn't say it's just the easiest one to start, but I think it's the safest place to start because of what happened. So far, the smartphone market this year has been very, very incredible. Obviously, we want to talk about the phones that came out this year. Obviously, we're talking about the Galaxy S10. You know, we're talking about the Note 10. You know, we're talking about the OnePlus 7 Pro, aka my phone. The OnePlus 7T. You know, obviously the Google Pixels. The iPhones this year have been really incredible, which that's, you know, it's definitely something that makes me say, wow, that's just, that's crazy. But it's so incredible to me, and how the smartphone market and how this year has been so competitive, and there's many good options. And obviously, like, getting to use the LG V50 this year was incredible too. Like, that was really fun. You know, we're still putting finishing touches on the video for the Patreon, so I'm sorry guys, it's taking a little bit longer. It's taking a little bit longer because there's some things that kind of a little bit finicky, so I kind of need more RAM for my computer to edit and render 4K video, so it's gonna take a little bit of time. But technology has been really incredible. And then in terms of, like, you know, my personal tech, obviously, yeah, like, you know, I'm like, in terms of the gear that I use for the show, you know, obviously I'm talking about my iPad Pro, because this thing, I love it to death. I really love the 2018 iPad Pros. Also, side note, when I'm talking about the show, yes, the show started this year. My bad. Sorry, I'm sorry if I said 2018. I'm very sorry if I said that. I probably realized, like, yeah, because my first year of college was 2018, fall 2018. Sorry. So I just wanted to clear that up, because I know some of you are like, wait, what? But anyways, going back to what we were talking about, iPad Pro. To me, you guys know that when I started the show, I talked about my 10.5 inch iPad Pro, but I also talked about the one that I have right now. I talked about the iPad Pro and how I truly do believe that it's going to change how things are going to work when it comes to not only college students doing their work, but also like professionals when it comes to making audio and, you know, video production, mobile cinematography and videography, like editing on an iPad. And obviously Apple is making some really good improvements. Like iPad OS is for sure definitely helping, and it's going to help as time goes by and it grows and grows. And as it gets older and older, it's going to be more refined, more iterations, and it's going to be more solid to the point that, you know, we're going to have more mobile applications or even stuff put on the cloud that the iPad's going to be able to handle. And, you know, as time goes by, you know, developers are going to get more accustomed to using this hardware and, you know, allowing this hardware to run more intensive applications. And it's going to be incredible. It really is going to be incredible once it happens. And I think, to me, another piece of tech is obviously going to be my OnePlus 7 Pro, because I bought this thing this year. And so far, my time with the phone has been really nice. I've really loved everything about this phone since having it. Like, I love the power behind it. Obviously, yes, cameras are still, you know, average, you know, above average at least. But I'd say overall in power, when I get out of it, you know, in terms of media creation, you know, like actually listening to media on it, it's been a very good experience. Like, just using it as a daily driver has been really fun. I really love this phone. It's been one of my favorite phones I had in a while, even though, yes, I still have a place in my heart for my Pixel 2 XL. I love that phone so much. But obviously right now, the OnePlus 7 Pro is my daily driver for the foreseeable future, for sure. And I love this phone so much, and I'm really impressed on what OnePlus was able to do with this phone. Obviously, yes, some people say, what's the point of getting the Pro over the T? And then, obviously there's main reasons is probably the heat pipe inside of this thing. So it's better to use the heat pipe than not have the heat pipe on the 7T, because obviously, more premium parts require, more, it requires you to pay a little bit more for more expensive parts, and it's been really nice. I love this phone. Obviously, my friend Ryan has it. Yeah, obviously, me and Ryan are over here with the OnePlus 7 Pro and just having fun. But it's been a really incredible experience so far. Obviously, in terms of like I mentioned before, is like my gear. Obviously, my gear has expanded drastically while doing the show. Obviously, we're talking about, my pair of Sennheisers, my HD 280 Pros. Obviously, I'm talking about my Zoom recorder, my H4n Pro. Obviously, I'm talking about my Shure SM58 microphones, and it's been so incredible because like I have this nifty little mobile setup that works the way I want it to, so I'm not so tied down and not that I can just record anywhere and wherever I want. And to me, it's been so incredible, like just how everything has played out, and just just having all the nice gear I have. Like I'm grateful for all that. And it's been an incredible journey so far because, it's helped the show grow. It's, it's expenses that I made to help improve the quality of the show so that you guys can have more enjoyable episodes, that things sound nicer. I'm getting more custom. And obviously, there's a big thing sticking out, which is the King's Engine. And some of you are probably wondering, what is he talking about when he says King's Engine? So let me explain that real quick. So when I started my first year of college, I had a laptop. I had my HP 115. And as time went by, I got really annoyed with it because it always would run really hot, and it was just really frustrating to carry on a 5-pound laptop everywhere I went because, it's heavy, like that's 5 pounds, and I have to carry the charging brick because it wouldn't last throughout class, and it was just really annoying. And then even while using it, it got really hot to the touch that even while doing basic stuff, it got hot. I thought changing the thermal paste would help, and obviously it didn't. I thought buying a bigger cooling pad would help. It didn't help that much. So I decided, okay, I'm going to sell this thing. I have my iPad because my iPad, I basically took it with me everywhere I go to class, and I was able to write my papers on it because that's what I did. Like I literally would just start the paper on my iPad or start it on my computer, like see what my thoughts, take it to the writing center, like put it in my Google Drive, take it to the writing center, work, like edit it on the iPad, and then put it back on the computer, and then, take the computer file, submit, boom. And it was just crazy to do that, and because it worked so well. And obviously, but as time went by, I was like, okay, I can take my iPad to class. I can type up things on the iPad without any issue because I got comfortable with it. So that's why I ended up getting the 11. Like I bought my friend's 11-inch iPad Pro, the 2018 model. I bought it from him. My dad bought me the Logitech keyboard cover for it, which, spoilers, is the best thing you can buy for this iPad, for these iPads, because it's just a great cover. It's a great keyboard too. It's just, I wish Apple would have made that keyboard. And then we have, what else? Obviously, yeah, and then the computer itself. So, obviously, I built my computer. So this was my first time building a PC, and it was really fun. Obviously, booting up Windows was one of the most infuriating things I've done. That's also my fault because I was stupid to not understand how to boot up Windows. That is my fault, and I will own up to that because it is my fault. So, that's my fault. But I'm really happy with how my computer came out. It was one of the most, I'd say, fun experiences I had in terms of technology because I got used to putting my own computer together, knowing where each piece goes, understanding which wire connects to what pin, and it's just it's so nice and it's so cool, especially when you see it boot up and you just have your own personal computer and knowing that you can feel so much pride in it because you put it together, and you can customize it whenever you want. And, obviously my computer specs, if you guys really want to know, which I thought I already made this clear when I did it, but for the people that are interested, especially if this is your first time listening to the show, so I ended up going with a Ryzen 5 2600X for my CPU. Obviously, I stuck with the stock cooler because AMD makes really good stock coolers. I decided to put 2 extra fans in there because my case is the NZXT H500i, so I stuck with the 2 stock fans. And then I also put 2 Corsair fans in it as well to help, manage like the thermals. 2 Corsair fans. Then my graphics card is a GTX 1070, the Asus dual fan one, which obviously that was really nice because I got that for a really good price and a great condition card. That wasn't mined on or anything. It was just a great condition card. It was really good. I got that, and then obviously I'm running with 2 sticks of 8 gigabytes of RAM, so 16 gigabytes of RAM in total at 3200 megahertz from the G.Skill Trident. I'm working with an inland 480 gigabyte SSD SATA 6. Obviously, and then I'm working with my 2 terabyte Seagate Barracuda hard drive as well. And then my motherboard is the Aorus Pro B450 Pro Wi-Fi. I'm working with that motherboard. And in terms of, is there anything else I'm missing? Obviously, my monitor is an Acer 1080p 144 hertz monitor. It's a really nice monitor for a good price too. And overall, my computer has been really good. I love this computer so much. Clearly, I still want to upgrade it because I eventually want to upgrade to 32 gigabytes of RAM. So just buy another 2 sticks of 8, or probably just like go up to 48 if I really wanted to, and just, well, actually, yeah, it'd be like, 48. Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah, it's 48. Upgrade to 48 gigabytes of RAM, and that means put 2 sticks of 16 in there if it's cheaper, and do that, and just have a great amount of RAM in my computer to handle anything I throw at it. Obviously, eventually I want to upgrade my CPU, and then my graphic card is fine for right now. Like, it's still fine. And I think to me it's going to be very interesting because obviously my computer is a beast, and it definitely is able to breeze through my schoolwork without any issue. So we have all that. And I think the final thing I want to thank, and for me, it's just something to reflect on, is just, I think it's just reflecting on how things have been. Obviously, you guys know it's been hard. Like, I'm not going to lie to you guys. You guys already know it's been hard for me emotionally. But at the same time, I still can find peace that everything will be okay. And I think that's what just, something I have to remind myself, is that everything will be okay. And that God is still at work, that he is working in the lives of somebody I care about. And, that even though right now there needs to be space and separation, that there's still love in my heart. And it's something that, that I know God is good, and I know that he is faithful, and that he is just. And all I know is that I have to be willing to trust him. And that's something that, it's easier said than done, But I think overall, I'm thankful for all of you guys. I'm really thankful for all of you guys, really. Because you guys have constantly supported me. You guys have constantly keep coming back and listening to the show. You've constantly shared the episodes. You constantly like the episodes. Obviously our follower count is growing. Like, I'm really happy with what we are. And, I hope that we keep growing, and that we keep growing as this community of people, like, asking the big questions when it comes to technology, business, and video games. And, but at the same time, that we would grow as people, that this is not just, just some talk show on the internet where we just talk about tech and be, just make observations or, give our opinions, but rather be genuine and be sincere when it comes to serious topics, And I think that's what's something that's really incredible to me, that you guys are on board with that's what you guys want too. And I think that's so crazy. And I think that's so, it's crazy, but it means a lot to me that you guys want that. That's what you guys want too. And because you guys have made it clear, you love them. You love the serious talks. You love it when I share what's on my mind, when I share with you the insight that I've been blessed with, and just sharing with you what's in my head, and I'm thankful that a lot of you have found so much encouragement, and just like I said, hearing your stories that you guys have shared with me about the relationships that you guys had, and how you guys can relate, and how God has brought you out of those situations, if you're a believer, and even if you're a non-believer, just hearing your stories has been very encouraging. It's been very incredible, and I thank you guys so much for your continued support and listening. Obviously, I'll leave the question open. I want you guys to reflect. Ask yourselves, what are you thankful for? Like, what are you thankful for? And also ask yourselves this question, like, what do you value the most in your life? Ask yourself that question, because I think it's a very important question to ask, especially in this time. Is like, what do you value the most in life? And what happened when you found what you value the most? Were you satisfied, or was something still off? And I want you guys to ask yourselves that question, especially during this holiday, because it's an easy way to reflect. And the same thing could go on Christmas, because I'll ask the same question again. What do you guys value the most? And what happened when you finally found what you valued the most, And I'll leave you guys with that. There's not really much else I can say, because like I said, this is a more personal episode. It's not, just shooting off the hip, really. That there's no script for it. It's just me sharing and, sharing with you what I'm thankful for, because there's so much for me to be thankful for. And I'm just thankful for all that God has done. And I'm thankful, for all of you. I'm thankful for all of my family. I'm thankful for all my friends. I'm thankful for all my mentors. I'm thankful for everyone that God has placed in my life for a reason. Even though, yes, things have been hard, some relationships have taken a turn for the worse, but I'm still happy, that I'm still glad, that I can find peace and joy in the Lord, that He is good, because, that's what the scripture tells us, is that our joy is complete because of Him, that He is the one that completes our joy, that He is who will make us, it is because of Him that even though our sins were as red as scarlet, He made them as white as snow and made us blameless and righteous before Him because of what Christ has done. And I think it's so encouraging, to think about that. But I love you guys to death so much. I hope you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving from the bottom of our heart, from all my friends and from all my family. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone that's listening. I hope you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Enjoy this time with your family and friends, and that you would just think about those questions and ask yourselves, what do you value the most in life? But until next time, I love you guys to death. I hope you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I'll say it again because I want you guys to know that I mean it. Happy Thanksgiving, guys. I love you guys to death. I'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys. Hey there. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day and listening to today's episode. If you're interested in supporting the show, whether it be financially, clicking the follow button, or just sharing the episode, it all works for me, guys. Thank you guys so much for your time, and I love you guys to death.